system. I'm going live directly in YouTube. No other apps involved. I normally use StreamYard. So what I've decided, yes, and at least it's very, very, or Lissy, it's very exciting. This whole new thing that I'm doing with my printables, I'm gonna explain what's on my desk shortly, and then I will get going with actually using it. But I'm just waiting for people to pop in because, well, I was early. I was so scared because I'm not used to doing it on my phone. I got logged in and I had everything on my phone, and then of course, you know, your screen times out. So then I had to find everything again because it's in the camera holder. My phone wouldn't recognize my face. So when I got it all set up again, I was like, well, I'm just going live 2 minutes early. Oh, thanks, Sarah. I really appreciate the shares. So yes, this is a new thing that I will be doing most Wednesdays. If I am traveling, like I know, for example, I will be away for 2 weeks in July, summer holidays. And so I will do a pre-recorded video for you guys so that you're not left without something to watch on a Wednesday evening, because I know quite a few of you are used to seeing Sarah's lives. And what I thought I would do tonight is I am going to just quickly flip through this one. This was my May release on my website, and the website link to the shop is in the chat. And what I did is I actually purchased a French dictionary, go figure, in the middle of Berlin. I purchased it at the vintage market, and I have turned it into a printable. Now, not everything is available in my shop. So to be able to make this cover with the spine and everything, that is actually from the membership area. And so there are certain things that I keep just for members on the website, but then there are other things like this that you will be able to purchase, download, and print. So what I've got here is I've created this file folder, for want of a better description, for these mini journals to go in. I'm calling them signatures. If you have them out of here, they are just little mini journals. And this is this print, which I've just printed on fast, and this I've printed on photo settings. So this I've just printed on normal. So there's so much to learn with this whole printing story with the downloads. And so different print settings, different printers. In fact, my printer has been giving me such a hard time. It has been well used for the last 5 years or so. It has been doing silly nonsense where it's messing up the corners, and it's just doing weird stuff, like just getting ink everywhere that it shouldn't. And then today when I was printing the sample to show you guys, it printed one side absolutely perfectly, and then the other side it pulled 2 pages through at once. Try and make it pull 2 pages through at once, and it certainly wouldn't. But just because I was trying to get the sample ready to show you guys, well, of course, it pulled 2 through, and I didn't catch it in time, and so now it's completely messed up my what's called pagination. It doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things. It just means that this particular one, when I put it together, won't be opposite pages, so double spreads. So I particularly like it when you open a journal and you have matching pages. I call that a double spread because I'm a scrapbooker. So thanks, Annalise. Remember the thumbs up. Thank you. That's awesome. So I like it when I open my book and I'm going to work in it that I have matching pages. And of course, like tonight where my printer's gone and done a silly nonsense on me. And that's the other thing. I put this page through twice. So this was something I downloaded off the internet that particularly spoke to me, and I want to do a page around that. So I put my paper through the printer again and double printed. So you can do that. In fact, I have something to show you over here where I've taken the A4 printable and then printed my journal pages over the top from, or not journal pages, the French dictionary over the top. So you can layer up your printing to make some different things. So I have very carefully designed this so that when you put it all together and you layer it up and then you staple it, because underneath the elastics I've actually stapled it, you get the double pages. Here is the add-ons of the flowers that I've printed back to back to make its own journal. And then here are the flowers as they should be. They're an add-on. So when I design these journals, the 5x7 journals, I have odd pages and even pages, obviously in my in the document, and the odd pages, let's just catch the first page because it's now, of course, nowhere as it should be. The odd pages have a bigger gap between my website name and the actual page. So this page is 10 by 7 inches, okay? And that means that when you print the even pages on the other side, you'll see there's almost no gap over there. And that means if your printer has pulled through the paper slightly skew, which my printer definitely has issues no matter how carefully I set the settings. Hi Hannah, evening. Yes, I'm continuing the Wednesday night lives in place of Sarah. Sarah is on her hollybobs today. Hope she's having some sunshine. Oh, thanks, Annalise. Yes, sort of summery vibes, these colors. So what I was just explaining is because you've got this particular print, the even pages is a 1/8 of an inch bigger all the way around. So when you cut it out on the odd page side, you won't have any funny white gaps over here. So even if your paper has pulled it through skew, you won't have that problem at all. So what I did want to show you in theory was how these things are set up. So when you actually have printed them, they don't look like they're going to make matchy pages. This is the center page, and the one I just showed you was the cover. So yes, those are kind of obvious because they have the matchy opposite. But when you put it all together and you cut it out, you will get what I was showing you earlier, which is this book. So there's the center page, and then you get the doubles. Of course, it's entirely up to you. You might not be that person like me. You might want unmatched pages, like what happens in the flowers, where you land up with dots and stripes. And well, there we had stripes and stripes because I just can't help myself, because of course it's up to you how you put these things together. It's all personal choice. And so I wanted to just flip through this book. So this book has then the May printables. This is the freebie that you get. Oh, thanks, Sarah, for sharing. This is the freebie that you get for signing up to my newsletter. And every month there is a different freebie that you will get. I only send one email a month unless I am updating you on when things are opening or closing. So you might get the odd extra email from me, but I'm not one of those over bombarding people. I personally don't like a full inbox, so I try not to bombard you with too much mail. But you get this freebie that you can print any way you like and put it together again any way you like when you sign up to my newsletter on my website. Then every month you get a different freebie. So this month's freebie is the cute little envelopes that also have 2 little notelets, and the notelets have the same inside in all of them. And from this month onwards, I am not putting the freebies on my website. So you only get the freebie if you sign up to my newsletter. I feel that's fair because you've given me your email address. I feel like you need some sort of special treatment. So you can use these on their own. You can use them as whole cards. You don't have to ink it then. So there's lots of different ways you can use it. And in fact, tonight I'm going to be using it in my journal. And then this was a journal I just want to flip through. So I am what I call like a hybrid crafter, as in I mix my junk journaling with my art journaling, as in these are really more art journal pages, but I have used dictionary paper that I have punched, that I have stuck in the background. This is from the freebie. I have stamped, I've used paint. Here I've used some of the freebies and I've stenciled and I've stamped. Then here I have some tickets from another designer, some old map book paper. This is from, oh crumbs, now I can't think of her name. Starts with an M. She's South African living in the Netherlands and she works for Studio Light. Why can't I think of a name? Anyway, so I will think of it shortly. So this is some old book paper and so on. So you can see I'm really like I mix and match. This was somebody else's downloads that I used to make a page. And again, this person's downloads was so fun because that's my stamp, which I'm actually going to use tonight. But her downloads were these AI steampunk characters, and I had a lot of fun using my stencils and stamps in this. And here we have, I've used the covers and made myself tags, and this was from a freebie that I did for this event. This group got this little freebie pocket. And so I just wanted to show you how I use my printables. So this original printable was my coffee paper printable. And so, yeah, that is one of my books that I finished. These tickets don't actually, they should come out. No, this is stuck down. Looked like a belly band. There I go, trying to damage my own. What's the difference between junk journal and art journal? Not much. Technically, this is more of an art journal than a junk journal. Junk journals, we use old envelopes. You can use printables. You can use your stencils and art journaling stuff. It's all the same, but there's a lot more emphasis on reusing stuff. So this is a sample that my dear darling current printer trashed for me. I should have stuck this down over here, and I don't have repositionable glue. So this is an envelope that you get your mail in, that I've carefully slit the opening, and then you can reuse it as a pocket and put something in, so that then you will see, you can see through using the window envelope. So this is the kind of thing that is typically junk that you would throw away, and you can repurpose it by putting it through your printer or using it as is, inking it, stamping it, stenciling it. You don't have to put it through your printer. If I'd known it was going to do this, well, tonight I would have just inked and stamped it. So yes, this one's ready for the trash, but I did keep it to show you guys that that's just something, because I was going to cut the pocket smaller. I've just used some masking tape to hold it in place, and so then I would use this as a pocket, but it's really got too messed up in my dear darling printer with issues. So yeah, junk journaling, traditionally you can use lots of different weights of paper. You don't have to use fancy printed paper. Something I did want to show you tonight was you can absolutely use normal paper. So this is your copy paper that you print normal documents and things on. And I changed the print setting to photo setting, so it's a better quality print. Hi, Hannah. Yes, the distressing on the envelope could have been intentional. I suppose maybe I'll still use it. Maybe I was just disappointed because, I mean, my print does have these black ink spots, but I technically shouldn't have all this black because it sort of bubbled up. The print head made all this mess, so maybe I'll still use it. Thanks for that, Hannah. I will actually, maybe, yes, we will go back to plan A. You know, as crafters, we have plan A, plan B, and many other plans as we go along. So let's just take it off that backing paper and I'll be able to use that. So, okay, I'll put it in tonight's pile of things to use. And then what I've got here is matte photo paper. So I prefer the matte photo paper, and this isn't a plug for Koala, but I use the Koala brand. Simply because I saw somebody else using it, and I really liked what their stuff looked like. And it's double-sided. I didn't know such a thing existed until I watched her video. And I do find that it's a nice thickness. This is the 140 GSM. And the color printing, I don't know if you can see, is considerably better. So it's just more vibrant, it's more rich. I like the feeling of it. But there's absolutely no reason why you have to spend money on special photo paper. You could absolutely just use normal copy paper, and if you didn't have the one next to the other, well, honestly, nobody would know the difference. How many sheets do I have in a signature? Yes, it is called a signature, Lissy. It depends. Usually I have 6 sheets. Sometimes I have 7. It depends on what I find, because like things like this, I find, you know, something really interesting, and then I sometimes will make a thicker book, a thicker signature. So I think this one has, and I've also added some of the coffee paper. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I've also popped one of the small ones in between before I stapled it. So a lot of the time when I'm doing a traditional junk journal where I'm adding doilies and envelopes and things in between and different layers and consistencies of paper, because that can also make it really interesting, I don't staple it. So these ones I have stapled, but I just normally would put the elastic around, and then when I'm finished, I would staple it. Do I sew my signatures? I have done, but I honestly don't have the patience. It's one of the reasons why I keep 7 is sort of the thickest that my stapler will go through. Yes, Hannah, I will be adding black soot to this, definitely, to make it look more intentional. So yeah, so I just use a normal stapler, like your desk stapler, and I open mine up. Not all staplers do this. And then I have got a really thick piece of foam that you use often for making flowers and things, and I just staple into my foam, and then I bend it over. So hi Angela, no problem. Dinner comes first. We don't craft well when we're hungry, do we? And families don't do well when they're hungry either. So yes, what I would like to actually get myself is one of those little signature, it's a little stand. It's a little MDF stand that's at like a 45-degree angle like this, with holes in, or you can with set holes to be able to poke through your pages, to be able to stitch them, and to be able to get all your pages with the same stitching holes. But because I'm using the elastics, yeah, the staples work just fine for me. But there's no reason why you couldn't stitch yours if you have the patience. So Then I've got the folio. That's the last thing. So this folio is quite cute. It's got these little file folders in it that can also be used in other things, and the pockets. And then it's got this little pull out here. In the online store, it only has the cover, and it's up to you what you want to put inside. But for the membership area, they get this added month. So it's a week to view. And then you have this week's goals, your shopping list, the month's goals, and then you glue a whole lot of those together, and you can have a month. Or if you're going away for 6 weeks or whatever, you can just take your 6 weeks, you can glue 6 weeks together, so you can make your own little diary. And of course you can use this in your journal as well. And so I just wanted to show you all of those, and then we're going to start playing. So a binding cradle. Thank you, Hannah. That's exactly what I was trying to explain. Yes, everything has a name. So what am I going to do? I'm going to grab out, and this is also why I staple and then use the elastics, because when I'm wanting to work on my journal, I just slide it out and then I can pop it back in when I'm done. So I'm going to be working on this page tonight. Oh, Sarah, I actually need to go on Amazon and look for a long arm stapler, because then it'll punch. So part of the problem with these is they can be a bit sharp because they stick up, whereas a normal stapler has those little divots that push the staples in so that they don't hurt you. Hi, Louise. Oh, thank you. Yes, the newsletter, you will have got this. And the other things that you can use any way you like. So, and then you will get the monthly freebies. So let's decide what we are doing with this page. I have had so many ideas, but I thought I would, so we're going back to using that. I'm going to make it steampunk, because people think of steampunk and they think browns and dirty colors and so on, but nope, it doesn't have to be. So I thought I would just play with these nice delicious pastel colors. And so I've got my pipe stencil from Funky Fossil, I have my woodland guys and girls, I have my steampunk stamp, and I have this one that I did as my last design for Sarah. The last hurrah! So I'm probably going to be using this one as a texture somewhere. That goes really nicely with the dots. You see, that's what I was planning. And right, let's see where we're going to go. Let's plan out where we're going to put things and what's going to go where. So if I'm going to use this pocket, I am going to, the pocket doesn't have to be upright. I mean, because that's the opening which I can trim down. It could, of course, go sideways. Oh, one of my neighbor's dogs is having an argument, having something to say. So what I'm going to do is cut it approximately there. Then it means I've got this to play with on the other side, because I always like things to link up. So maybe I should just get my little trimmer out. That would make life a bit easier and things would be straight. I don't feel like using a craft knife. So I'm just going to pop this in my trimmer. And about, well, let's not use the side. I think, no, that is the top. So technically that should be straight. Where's my cut line? That's my cut line. So let's have it there. There we go. So now I have a pocket. And I need to glue this one side, so I'm going to just run, actually I want my skinny glue, so I'm going to use my one in the, with my nice little nozzle, and I'm just going to glue that shut. So the reason I'm using this is I don't want the glue oozing and taking up too much space inside my pocket. Yes, Steph, you can definitely adapt some of the freebies for ATC holders. Absolutely. So now we have a pocket. And what's going to go in the pocket? Let's see. Maybe one of these can go in the pocket. Oh, wow. Yes. Nice that you've got your brother there. Enjoy. Let's see how big. Thanks for popping in and thanks for sharing, Sarah. I appreciate it. So now, yeah, that'll work. We can have it in here like that. Okay, so we have that. We also have this one that matches the stripes a little better. So I think maybe we'll go with this one. And then I think I'm going to stamp on it. So, and now my monitor has decided it's going to go to sleep. Okay, I'll work it up again. Don't really understand what ATCs are. Do people give them to people or just make little things for your own amusement? Well, it's a bit of both. So in fact, I have a piece of cardstock here ready to make an ATC for a friend. It's usually something you swap. An ATC is artist trading card. So if you think there's in America, they do the baseball cards. There's a lot of different I know my son used to collect when it was the World Cup soccer. He collected the cards, and they are traditionally always 2.5 by 3.5 inches. And it is something you trade. You never sell them. You give them or you trade them. So they're never sold. And you normally put your details on the back, like your name, if there was a theme. So sometimes there's official swaps. And there's a theme. It could be a color, could be spring, could be anything you like. And yeah, then you post them off to your friend. And I don't usually work outside of the card, because you get very specific artist trading card pockets that you store them in. So I don't make mine two-dimensional, and I don't make them any bigger, you know, things going off it, because if people want to store it in their folders, that makes things awkward. So yeah, so that's what an artist trading card is. I'm gonna go with, and of course the mouse is going to stamp the other way. So let's see. I will then use the rabbit, looking at the rabbit, but I will use a squirrel because I want her looking out that way. And I need a block, and I'm going to stamp in black just because I want something nice and bold. And seeing as my printer has already added black for me, well, we're just gonna go with the flow. And let's just pop this out of the way so that I can stamp. So like Sarah, who shared the live, Hannah, she does a tag swap. So she has a running a group, and she has a tag swap, and every month she picks a different theme, or the people in her group pick a whole lot of themes, and then you get paired up and you ship off your design, and then you get one in return. It's just fun, because you know the world's become a terribly serious place, and most of the things you get in the mail these days, if they don't come in your email, are all If it's not junk mail, then it's bills. So it's always nice to have something to look forward to. And then sometimes what people do is they add, I don't know if you've ever seen RAK, Random Act of Kindness. People will add a little set of stickers, some die cuts, depending on what. Sorry, I'm just going to give this some CPR just to make sure. Into the envelope, just as a fun thing. It's not expected, but some people like to do that. And so, yeah, there we go. Mrs. Squirrel, look at her. So now she will stick her little nose out of the pocket, like so. How's that? That looks quite cool. And that will go on here. And as you suggested, I'm going to get my black soot out. And Sarah Gray is not watching, so I'm going to use, I'm not using her lovely brushes. I always use, for edging, I use my applicator tool. I just find it easier. I've seen people edge with those brushes. I'm just not one of them. So there we go. That's all edged. I know inside I've used brown, so maybe I need to just go over, although we can mix and match, but I'm just, thankfully black will go over the brown, so we will just make everything look same. And I must admit, Hannah, I do enjoy participating in these swaps because it gives me a reason to craft when I'm not designing. Oh dear, that wasn't quite dry, and Mrs. Squirrel has left an impression in there. So let me just get a paper towel and clean inside the window. Or was that me now? Is this inside or outside? Let's, not that it really matters. Does it matter? No. Is she dry? Yes. Should have maybe checked that the first time. There we go. Right, and we're going to put her over there. I need something. Let's punch some circles out of this. I want to repeat this pattern, so I'm just going to open this up. And we will make, oh, it didn't like that. Maybe I should punch it. Okay, let's slide that off. Punch it double. Yep, that's better. I didn't like the paper. And I'm going to do a half circle. And another half circle, because why not? Okie dokie, so now we ink. And I'll probably put these flat ones around the edges. Something like so. So the yellow one. Yes, this paper is very thin, so I can see why my punch just wanted to chew it. A 6-inch space is developing. That is mandatory. Quite right. You sneaking a view from your brother's place. Or haven't you left the building yet? Okay, 6-inch view indeed. So yes, let's but I will be using these things again. So right, so that's a pink one, can go on a yellow one. I'm trying to bring this coloration over here. So let's do this one down there. And then we have 3 other circles. So we can have yellow, why not? And let's have one over here. There we go. Now, me being me, I like to make all my lines go straight, but you could, of course, have them go at a diagonal. Nothing wrong with that as well. I'm just one of those people that like all things in little rows. Sarah is playing hooky. Okay, so let's see what we can do with this piece that's left. Maybe we can make some sort of belly band. That would work. That works well. Okay, so I'm gonna, let's trim this side off. How much do I need to trim off? Not a lot. Okay, let's just fold that back and then test. Great. Probably should use my trimmer, but of course it's disappeared in the 6-inch mess. Okie dokie, then at least I know it's straight-ish. It's a journal, it doesn't have to be perfect. So, righty-ho, ink this. And that can go across there like so. And that can come down there. So now we've got some repeat things going on. Now before I stick these, I'm going to do some stamping, and I want my steampunk to go somewhere. Just because. And I need some stencil work. And I've got 20 minutes-ish. So where am I going to have the steampunk? Am I going to have it going across there like that, like there? Am I going to have it going up there? It doesn't fit. If I have to put it this way, so it doesn't fit going that way. So it has to go across the page. Well, that solves that problem then, doesn't it? Okay, so that will go across there. I'm just deciding this now because I'm going to be adding, I think, some black stamping, and I want these things to go over the top. But if I add black stamping and then that's not going to stand out. So I am going to just stamp this first. And let's have the M and the P across like that. Let's have, I have 8 inches of space. What do you know? Okay, let's ink this up. And I'm definitely going to have to stand up and do some CPR because I've got quite a step over there. I might have to come back and adjust that. Let's take that away. My mom's watching in the lounge and she just yelled that I had the circle in the way, but I saw it, thankfully. We have a delay. Okay, so I'm gonna really squish the side. And then I'm going to stand up. Yeah, so there's going to be a bit of a weird shadow. And I know that M is not going to print. What I'm going to have to do is take it off and just match it up. And the A didn't print. Oh, well, let's fix that. Let's take the A off. This is why I like clear letters, because now maybe I need my glasses. That might help. Right, glasses on. Next line. I'm going to have to bring it closer to me. Hope you can still see what I'm doing. Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to line that up like so. There we go. I will sort that out later. And let's do M. Ta-da! Ah, yes, Sarah Lou came to visit me here in Berlin. It was so cool. She got to meet my mom. She got to see this. This is really a tiny, tiny little space. It's a 4 meter by 2 meter space, and it is jam-packed full of stuff. That U didn't print properly there, so I think I didn't ink it properly. So I'm just going to fix that. There we go. Just steampunk, so if it's not perfect, well, it's not perfect. And maybe I'm going to change my ink color. So I have off to the side all the colors that I used to make this paper. And how about I then stamp this not in black but in another color. Right, let's go for some turquoise, because then we can always go black. But if we start off black, it's very difficult to go dark. So I'm just doing the push back and clear. There we go. And I'm just going to ink this up, because then I can build some layers. Is this its cover? No, it's not. Glad I made your stash. Well, I think your husband thought you were an angel after seeing my stash. So glad I could be of use. There we go. And I'm going to stamp up here. Now I'm intentionally not using a block so that this can stamp kind of odd. And we will put a little bit more ink on here. And stamp on this side because, well, I think I'm going to actually stamp on the pocket. There we go. And maybe here. Sorry, my daughter was distracting me being a flamingo chicken. What is the light pink shade? So this is Worn Lipstick. And this is Picked Raspberry. Picked Raspberry. So the Worn Lipstick is more like what's on here, and the Picked Raspberry is what I've got going in the background over there. There is a color called kitsch flamingo. Maybe your daughter could be a kitsch flamingo, not a flamingo chicken. So I'm just wiping my stamp with a baby wipe because I want to go into some black ink now and I don't want to contaminate it. Right. And let's do some of the black. Good excuse to buy more. Yes, we always need good excuses, don't we? So that's going to layer up on there. I think we'll have some black here. We'll have that over there. And that. Okay, let's have some black. Now I'm going to put paper underneath this because this black, although you can clean it off with alcohol, and I'm not talking about gin and tonic, I'm talking about the isopropyl alcohol. This is the most fine clear. So if you ever get black ink where you don't want it, use isopropyl alcohol and it will clean it. That's what I use to clean my stamps. So I'm just going to protect my desk. And I don't have to clean if I don't need to. Rather spend more time crafting than cleaning. Right, so this time I'm using this broken edge. I'm going to overlap both my blue areas of stamping. And I'm going to bring some down here. So that will balance that. Oh no, you didn't have kitsch flamingo. It is a lovely color. I don't have all of Tim's colors. I did get the his pencil crayons on purpose so that I could have more colors. This is just not printed properly and I'm just going in there haphazardly, and then I'm going to take this down here over there. I've got a little bit of ink left over there and I'm just going to use what's left. So because I don't have all of his colors, I decided to go with the pencil crayons because I felt that gave me a little bit more variety. Okie dokie, we have about 10 minutes left to finish putting this page together. So let's see where we're at. We had a belly band over there. We have this envelope pocket over here. We had something going on over there. We had this down here. We had this one somewhere up here, so we can have that there, and maybe that one like that. Okie dokie, then we're going to have that. And what's going in there? Let's see. What have we got that we can use that will work in the way of how about we turn that inside out? That works. And that can go in there. Okay, but now I want to stencil. So I've got my stencil here, and I'm going to pop those out the way, and I'm going to go right across both pages like so, and I'm going to use what am I going to use? Let's use the picked raspberry and my yummy funky fossil brush. Okie dokie, so I'm going to use the whole stencil, so I'm just building layers, lots and lots of layers. And it's just, I was just saying I need to line that up a bit better. And in the background, I don't know if my camera is cutting that out, but you can hear a siren of sorts. They all sound the same here. You don't actually know whether it's a fire engine, a police car, or a ambulance. Ta-da! Right. That looks good. Now I'm going to glue these down. Oh, I think I had this done first. And then that can go right on the edge up there. Overlap. We'll do the same down here, so that needs to go about there. So this paper from the envelope. Now you see I'm dyslexic, and my mom actually got me a dictionary for phonetic spelling because, well, it depends on how you say something, how you want to spell it. So if you say envelope, you won't find it in the dictionary because, well, it's an envelope. Welcome to my crazy world. Okay, so let's make a decision now about where this, let's cut that in half. My scissors are suitably buried and I'm off screen. Let's shove you up a little bit. There we go. Let's chop that down the middle. And let's pop some glue on the back of this envelope. And then we can spread these out. So that, I'm sure I can still slide that under there. Yep, there we go. And then we can slide this one even if it just goes inside the pocket slightly. There we go. Right, now we have to put the belly band in. So I'm going to put just glue on this end and on that end. And I think I want where the torn edge was on top. And I'm going to pop that there. Here it slipped. Don't do that. Don't misbehave. Not while we have people watching. That's just rude. So we can either go that way and it'll actually just sit nicely on there, or what I was thinking is it can go over the top like that and then it won't fall out. Okay, but now it needs some black edging because, of course, well, I did brown before. So now we're going to make it matchy-matchy. I'm going to leave that brown, but I'm going to do this side black. And then I'm going to bring some color in to my steampunk wording, I think. And what can I put on here? So I'm going to have that hanging down there like that. So we have lots of dots going on. Maybe I can put, maybe we can have the mouse facing the squirrel. And I'm just going to grab another ink block, stamp block. And of course we need to push back and clear. And I'm going to pop her on there like that. Let's give her some CPR. And that looks good. I can see that I think because this is photo paper, the ink stays wet for a lot longer. So this time, so that I don't land up smudging her, I'm going to give her a quick blast with the heat gun. Let's see, is that still shiny? Let's do the test. No, that looks great. And so now that's going to go there. And then that leaves me a few minutes to perhaps put some color in the steampunk. So I'm going to grab, easier said than done. Of course you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just unburying my Tim Holtz pencil crayons, which are right behind me. I guess I could use a brush. I think that's upside down. There we go. And back to front. And where are my pinks? I think they're in the back. Of course not. Let's do that one. Pinks. So I've been using picked raspberry, so let's use picked raspberry. So that's the same. This is why I like Tim's pencil crayons, because they match everything. So I'm going to just pop a little bit of color. Oh, thanks for the love. Really appreciate it. And thanks to those of you who have stayed all evening, stayed for the hour. I appreciate it. And I will be back next Wednesday with another page using some junk like this letter envelope and some of my printables and some of my stamps. And we'll just have a play, and hopefully I'll inspire you to have a go, because it's really just about having fun. And most of these things, I mean, obviously I'm doing it live for you guys, but you know, most of us who are just stay-at-home crafters, who are not teachers, you don't have to show your journals or junk journals to anybody. So it doesn't have to be something that you feel like you would, you know, give to somebody, show somebody, put on your wall. You know, so what I like about journaling and so on is that, you know, if you're making a card, you're going to give it to somebody. So there's that pressure to make it great. If you are, you know, making a scrapbook page, or you are doing a picture, well then again, you feel that pressure because it's going to be on display. Whereas in a journal or a junk journal, it's a place to let your hair down. You can even write in it, like notes. I've got one that I've written personal stuff in. That one I don't show anybody. That's just my place to let my hair down. And I think I'm going to add some pink in her ears. I must say this photo paper is actually really nice to color on as well. I'm not going to add the water. And let's give her a pink dress just because we can. Probably should do it not on my book already, but anyway. And I'm probably off screen, but I'm just coloring and having fun. And let's give her a... Oh, you see, I should have left it unzipped. A blue. What did I use? Mermaid Lagoon. Let's find Mermaid Lagoon. And let's give her a blue key. And maybe a blue hat. And I'm going to leave it at that because we are an hour in. Well, I did start 2 minutes early and now I'm 2 minutes over. But I just thought, now I know that this new system of mine works. There we go. So there we have my first page in my journal. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Oh, my favorite thing to do at the end when I'm done is to ink my pages. I nearly forgot. So let's just not ink the entire book. So thanks everybody for stopping by, and I will see you next week. Bye for now. How do I end? There's no end button.